Nigerian economy is gradually taking a boost as manufacturing purchasing managers index expands to 59.3 points in November. This shows an expansion in the manufacturing sector for a 32nd consecutive month. The index grew faster compared to its level in October. 13 subsectors reported growth in the review month. They include transportation, equipment, petroleum and coal products, furniture and related products, electrical equipment, plastic and rubber products, food, beverage and tobacco products, and others. The paper product subsector recorded decline in the review period. According to reports from the CBN, the raw material inventory drives growth of the manufacturing PMI. Let's break this down. I have an economic analyst, Odelim Wegbara. He joins me now from Abuja Live. Mr. Odelim, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, this looks very good. 59.2 index points recorded. No, 59.3 from 59.2. That's 1.1 basis points higher for the PMI. This looks like a good one, following the figures from GDP just lately.
Of course, yes. You know, I have been one of those championing the closure of our borders because over the years, dumped goods on Nigerian markets have actually undermined our industrialization and undermined our ability to earn tariff money from imported goods. So I'm positive, I'm very happy.
Now let's look at the sectors. It looks like almost all of these sectors are doing well. Are you going to attribute all of this to the border closure, or what is that thing that is being done right? CBN is pumping so much money into the manufacturing sector, agriculture, all of these sectors. The CBN is focusing on them.
Let me put it this way. I was one of those against MFELA. I don't know if you know, but the new policy dimensions that are taking place, I'm actually in bed with him. So I can't thank him enough for being very visionary, especially in terms of agriculture. All you need is to have a good idea, and the anchor program will help you to get some money, soft loans and things like that. So let him continue that way because we must bring our economy out of the woods. Talking about the border closure, I will insist that the border closure has more impact, positive impact on the economy than his recent or his earlier policy in agriculture and manufacturing. Because without being able to close the borders, these effects that are manifesting and wouldn't have been manifesting.
Oh, Mr. Odelim, now, are you saying also, let me ask you, that the fiscal side and the monetary side now have that handshake that we've been expecting them to have, working in tandem? There's a synergy between both parties. Are you going to say that is working now with all of these positives that we see?
As I said earlier, I don't know whether I need to repeat myself. I said I'm in bed with the CBN governor. You know what that means. So the policies are good.
The fiscal side. I'm talking about the fiscal side now, the government side.
The fiscal side means, as far as I'm concerned, the fiscal side people are a bit to be waking up from bed. They have to be more proactive, and of course, because the problem with CBN going beyond the monetary policy to go into fiscal policy is the problem of being able to sustain it with all the checks and balances, because that is a serious problem. You know, fiscal policy makers would have been the ones to create checks and balances and the policy dimension that will be actually sustainable. Like now, the CBN is pumping in money, that's okay, but someone has to understand the mechanism through which and checks and balances that will be in place in order to ensure that this is sustainable. That's what I'm trying. And these are not political actions that will eventually have a bad effect on the economy.
Let's look again at border closure, which you've identified as saying the positives outweigh the negatives. Many have agreed. Many economic analysts also agree that line. But some are also saying that Nigeria needs to be self-sufficient before some of these moves are made. Let's give an example. As we move to the Yuletide season, it's rice now. But this year, I think some people might even be giving out yams or beans. What do you think?
My brother, you know, we haven't been fair to ourselves. We want to have our cake and eat it. No nation has ever developed without actually paying for its development. China, from 1980 to 1989, Chinese suffered a lot. If you look at the United States, we are all today talking about as a great economy, as far back as 1792, Hamilton, when he was the first Secretary of Treasury, actually insisted that the border must be closed so that America will produce what it consumes and will consume what it produces. So this is what Nigeria has been expecting for the past 60 years, and it has happened. And I will forgive Buhari for everything he has done in the past 5 years or 4 years. I'll forgive MFLA for what he has done in the past 4 years or 5 years, but this thing, border closure, is what I have been hammering on since I returned from the United States. And it has finally happened in my lifetime, and I'm very happy.
So one way or the other, this would help improve, or let's use the word strengthen, Nigeria's manufacturing sector. Because I think many analysts like you have said, make Nigeria more competitive, which is what we want, even looking at the AFCFTA that was signed just recently.
Now, competitiveness, people do not understand that. Let me give you an example. About a year and a half ago, I received a paper to supply a lot of cashew nut. I won't tell you the numbers. And I took the paper to a bank and said, look, I have this market. And the bank gave me the money. And within 2 months, I supplied. You see, when you control the market, when you have access to the market, when the competition is among local manufacturers and producers, I will assure you that it's a heavy competition, and those who will build infrastructure will see the benefit of building infrastructure. Now, infrastructure will be located where manufacturing is taking place so that they will take full advantage of making the infrastructure available to manufacturers who will immediately pay for the services. So that's the way I see it. Let's be a bit patient with this country. The only concern I have is the problem of insecurity. Because if you have a problem of security and the people are afraid of investing in certain areas of the country, people are afraid of moving around, moving goods and services and human beings, then that's a serious problem. For example, I have some foreign investors who I've contacted and they're going to invest in one of the things I'm doing, but they continuously told me, Mr. Enwabara, we cannot come because we are not sure of our lives, let alone the investment itself. Government must reduce a security problem in this country. The security problem is too much for people to have meaningful investment in the country and have it protected. Another important thing I want to mention before we go is that we must eventually restructure this country so that regions will be mindful of their own economic needs and they will go around the world to look for investors themselves. Federal government cannot continue to over-centralize the economy and think that the economy will actually boom, because if he allows the Southwest to take care of its own economy, Southwestern economy is going to be even bigger than Nigerian economy in the next 10 years or 15 years. Then other regions will take cue behind Southwest, you know. So that's what we need to do. We stop this over-centralization.
Mr. Odelim, thank you very much for your time. It's great talking to you on this very important topic. Good figures coming from the manufacturing sector.
Thank you.
Expansion, indeed. That's what we see.